Moved down to Arizona with no job, no money, living off unemployment, decided to start TREPIC Networks. Hello and welcome to Behind the Network. My name is Anthony Miller, owner and operator of TREPIC Networks. I've been in the industry for 20 years.
My name is Alec Miller. I am the operations manager here at TREPIC, and I've been in the industry for roughly 10 years. So let's just start with why Behind the Network. Why did we start this?
So we basically started this network to provide some entertainment, some education, and also shows the insights of how your ISP works and how TREPIC works as an ISP.
Yep, kind of just peer into what we do, what we're working on, stuff like that in our network. Well, let's move on to how we started here, how TREPIC started, where it all came from.
Me and Shane Miller, my father, partner in the business, started TREPIC Networks. About 8 years ago, we came down here. He had sold his company. I came down here with no money, no job really. He had sold his company, so he had some money, but didn't know where to go. And so I drove around. I found an area that had a lot of customers that had old technology on their house. And I told him basically, I think if we start an ISP here, provide internet service in this area, I think we can make it work.
Yeah.
And so we started knocking on doors. Found that they had exactly what we thought, which was terrible service with the old technology. And I was like, if you had the opportunity, you switch. And I think we had 30 people on our pre-sign up, one tower, 30 pre-sign ups. We mounted all the gear, and now we have over 32 tower sites and over 3,000 customers servicing about 7 different cities. And it's been going really well.
Yeah, and that main site for us, it's in Queen Creek, right along Hunt Highway, and it's now branched off to where we feed roughly 8 other locations and expanded to a lot of other customers in the Queen Creek area. It's been a big part of our network for sure, is having that site.
Yep, we still have that site today, and it still has quite a few customers off of it.
Yep, and I started 10 years ago, my 10 years experience. I just did installs with Anthony and Shane, and they take me after school to go do installs on the weekends. I've been doing all of our pole work because I wasn't scared of heights. Anthony, we have 50-foot wood poles where we service a lot of our customers on just out of a man lift getting up there. And Anthony had done the first couple of sites, but couldn't really handle the heights.
No, I did one site. It took me about 8 hours, and I think Alec can do one in 4. That's build start to finish.
Yeah.
It was mainly because I was shaking so bad and scared to let go of the pole that I just couldn't operate at that height. It was terrible. So
I've been doing that for a long time. I started out doing installs, obviously, climbing underneath the houses, going up on the rooftops, doing all the grunt work for all the way throughout college. I was doing it in the summers. I used to install out of the back of my car, my Dodge Caliber, my little sedan with the ladder folded up in the back, seats folded down.
Yeah, and in the beginning, we didn't have an office. We operated out of a storage unit. So he'd go pick up his radios and his arms and mounts and everything at the storage unit, the back of his car, and go out and do installs in the back of his car.
Yeah. Well, I've always been meaning to ask you this. Figured it's a good topic for one of the first on the show. What is the meaning of TREPIC? Obviously, it's not a word. It doesn't mean anything. It's not a name. So where'd you guys come up with that?
Yeah, so me and Shane, we wanted to start a business in the telecommunications industry. Shane always said when he sold his last company, his favorite part of it was the reoccurring revenue. So it was supposed to be reoccurring whatever we started. And then we wanted it to be epic. So we basically threw it all together. We called it TREPIC, and so we had that for a different business opportunity that didn't work out, and this opportunity came up. So we said, let's call it TREPIC. Let's do that. And so we named it there, and the rest is history.
Yeah. It used to be TREPIC Wireless.
Yes, it was TREPIC Wireless. Yep. And then we changed the name to TREPIC Networks. It's kind of where we were going with everything. We wanted to get into some networking, things of that nature. And now we do fiber, so it is a better fit as well. So we're TREPIC Networks, do fiber and wireless, which you're obviously running most of the fiber projects, and have learned a ton doing that.
Right. Yeah.
So
for sure. And it definitely gives us more of an umbrella name rather than tying us just to the wireless group.
Right. We do wireless, we do networking, we do fiber. It's just a better brand overall for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to kind of what we do here differently than other companies, kind of some of the pain points that customers experience with their ISPs and how we handle those and how we do them differently. One of the first ones I wanted to go over was data caps. I know we have unlimited data. We don't charge for any data usage or anything like that, but just kind of give us an insight on how it works for other companies.
Yeah, so a lot of other companies they either do deprioritization, which means they slow you down after you utilize so much data,
Right.
and then and other companies charge for overages. So they give you like a terabyte of data, and then they charge you for every 100 gig you use over that, or they make you go with unlimited data, which is an extra fee. So we have never charged for data caps, and we've never done deprioritization only because when we buy upstream bandwidth, there's nobody in the industry that charges that. It's not really a practice when you're buying from tier one providers. So we just never thought we should charge our customers for that.
Right.
It's kind of been our niche market to where we have been able to get people to switch over to us because other people do the deprioritization, do the extra
Well, and the
fees.
overage charges can get pretty serious on
Yeah,
your bill. I mean, doubling, tripling your bill.
yep. They can charge extra for that, and then they can charge you an unlimited data, which they try to upsell you on when you're
Right.
signing up for them.
Yeah, sign
So
up for our fake
unlimited data.
unlimited data that it doesn't cost us anymore. It just makes us a little bit more.
Right. It's just a revenue center for them. I mean, it's, they're making extra money off you. They're not really getting charged for it. And so it's just kind of a revenue center for
Yeah.
them.
Another thing is customer service. So I've experienced this personally. I'm sure many people out there have experienced it. Is you've got a problem with your service provider or whatever, and you go to their website or you shoot them a text, and it's just a robot. And it is almost impossible. You call in and you get a robot.
Yeah.
You almost never get a real person.
Right. So here at Trepic, we've always had somebody in the office that answers the phone, somebody local to Arizona that's answering the phone. We do have 24 by 7 outside tech support because our guy in the office obviously can't work 24 by 7.
Right.
And so, but our outsourced is still in the US. It's in Minnesota, I
Yeah.
think is where it is. And they take our 24 by 7 calls. If they can't help you, which they can help 80% of customers over the
Yeah.
phone, or via text. We now offer texting, so you can text us or call us. You're still talking to a real person either way.
Yeah.
But they answer those, and if they can't figure it out, our guy in the Arizona office comes in and he takes care of those every day and
Yeah.
talks to real customers. He lives in Arizona. He can talk to you about local things that have been going on and everything. And it's nice to actually talk to a human. So
Yeah.
and get a hold of
Well,
somebody.
and there's a lot of like unique challenges that come up, especially in our industry with people service, and it's hard to have. I mean, you can have a chat bot that answers like simple billing questions or very simple technical questions, but you kind of need a real person to talk to diagnose what's going on as
Yes.
well, and that's something we really value, and I think our customers really value as well. So.
Yes. Absolutely.
Another thing is slow at peak times. I know a lot of people experience this. They get home 6 o'clock, want to put on a movie, and all of a sudden their internet just doesn't work.
Yep. So some of that can be tied to deprioritization that we talked
Right.
about on data caps. They could be deprioritizing you if you've already went past the allotted time they've given you. It also is how they build out their network. So they could all internet is an oversubscription type basis, meaning I put up one unit, I talk to multiple units. And so if it's an oversubscription basis, they just mean that they've oversold
Yeah.
their node or their endpoint, their AP, whatever you want to call it. It's called different things in different networks, but they basically just oversubscribe that. And what you're seeing is everybody gets home, they turn on their internet or they turn on their show or they watch their football game. Everybody's doing it at the same time, and so it's slowing down.
Well, yeah, and it's even in the fiber industry. Our at our cabinet, if we put too many fiber customers on a single port, they'll start to experience issues.
Yep,
So we
fiber
even
has
have to
it.
manage that in the fiber world, not even just on the wireless world.
Yep, fiber has that. Satellite has that. Every industry has it. It's just at what bottleneck it is. In fiber,
Yeah.
we have a 10 gig port.
Right.
In our APs, it's a 1 gig port. So it's always something else. It's just different. It's all based on how the network's built.
Yeah,
So
and then we do a pretty good job of managing how many customers we put on a certain AP or on a certain port,
yeah.
and kind of manage that throughout our network.
Yep, we try to upgrade our network as we do. So if we see that there's going to be a bottleneck of any nature, we add additional equipment,
Right.
upgrade ports, upgrade towers. we're constantly doing upgrades in our networks, whether that's the newest and latest, greatest equipment or adding additional stuff to the network.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I'd like to move on to some of the fun stuff is the news in the ISP world.
yep.
One of the big topics that we've been on in our office this week is the memory shortage. So from my understanding, this is RAM is the memory
Yes.
shortage. And a big part of it to do is with building the AI data centers. It's like what everyone is talking about right now is the world of AI.
Right. The data centers are taking all the RAM, and so what other companies have done to fix this, which one of our vendors is Ubiquity that sells equipment.
Yep.
We just recently got a cut sheet that said all the pricing is going to go up 5 to 10% on all their equipment. And it's a memory surcharge is what they're doing, which is basically saying because there's such a memory shortage, which, some of the memory providers, I don't know if you know this, but I think it's Micron is what it is.
Yeah, one of the big chip.
Yeah, one of the big chip manufacturers. They've said they're only making memory for data centers.
Right.
So it takes it, and all that data, that memory is off the market now. So for like our equipment or Ubiquity equipment and stuff like that, they've taken that memory off the market to be used for that, and it has to be used for data centers, which is providing a squeege, which is providing, increased costs of equipment, networking equipment, which is eventually going to affect everything.
I will say, at least they're honest about it.
Right.
At least they're not just raising prices to us.
Right.
We buy a lot of equipment from Ubiquity. Maybe we're not one of the biggest ones. There's obviously much bigger companies than us, but we buy a lot of equipment from them, and it's pretty cool that they just, they're not just raising prices 5 to 10%. They're telling you, we're having a shortage. It's affecting our cost to provide the good to you.
Yeah.
And, we do have to charge a little bit more, but it's not permanent.
Right. Well, it makes it feel like it's not permanent because it is a surcharge. It's a potential thing that they could potentially remove.
Right.
When they just raise the price, if there's not a memory surcharge, then they're going to reduce it, or they will never reduce the cost of equipment in the future. You know what I mean? It's a hope and pray that at some point there's not going to be a memory surcharge and the price will go back down to what we were paying previous.
Yeah. Another one is the glass shortage. We haven't felt it too bad because our 2 recent fiber projects where we lit up 1,000 homes, we bought Corning fiber, but this was before the news that kind of came out so just a little backstory. BEAD it's Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. It's a government-based program across the U.S. to basically get fiber or good service to people's homes. We applied for a little bit in Arizona. None of the funds have been released to Arizona.
No,
yet.
They've announced who won, but they have not released the funds. But yes, the glass shortage is definitely a real problem. I mean,
especially for all of them.
Corning signed a deal with, I think it was Meta or something, that all their data center is going to be Corning glass, and so Corning is allotting all of their glass to go to the data centers for Meta, I think it was.
Yeah, and the other thing to just to kind of educate people is it's all when you take BEAD funding, you've been given this government funding to go put fiber in the ground or whatever. It's got to be BABA compliant, which is Buy America, Build America. So everything they purchase to service internet has got to be manufactured and distributed inside the U.S. And Corning was one of the largest U.S. manufacturers of fiber optic cable.
Right. It's kind of like the memory shortage and the glass shortage are very similar because there's only so many people that make glass and there's only so many people that make memory. And so when you take one of them and you say, okay, now we're all going to make this just for the data centers, well, then the rest of the market is squeezed. And so when I go to buy glass for my project, we don't have a project currently that we're doing. We're still finishing up our other projects, but I need that glass. And if it's already allotted to data centers and for the next 5 years, it's allotted for data centers, that means I can't get glass. Or if I do get glass, I'm going to have to pay a premium for it.
Yeah.
Back to the memory surcharge thing, they're just it's going to cause the cost of putting internet to people and providers to go up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty much what we got for news in the ISP world. 2 pretty important topics that are affecting us. Luckily, we're not buying any glass right now from Corning. But the Ubiquity charging us the memory surcharge is an increase in our cost just to service internet like we've been doing for years.
It'll eventually start affecting us even on our existing projects from jumpers to everything else. Because right now it's just on the 13,000 foot spools of glass is what's really getting
Right.
affected right now. But it's all going to carry down into the lower stuff
Yeah, all the
because all
smaller
the
stuff.
jumpers,
All of
the
our fiber to the
optics,
home products that we buy.
yeah, everything else is eventually going to get affected. I mean, right now, just the big stuff's getting affected because of
Right.
the news titles and everything.
Yeah, I read
but-
something about they actually have to produce a specific type of glass for the AI data centers.
Yes.
And Corning was one of the largest manufacturers of that specific type.
Yeah.
It's not the same that like what we buy.
Right.
But they've basically like reallocated all of their assets so that they can fulfill this huge contract.
Yeah, they probably just turned down these people and said, we're not making this glass anymore. We're taking all the supplies that we used to make that
Right.
glass and we're going to produce more of this glass because that's what the demand is.
Yeah.
And it's just easier. I mean, you think about it, they can sell all their glass to one person instead of all their glass to
it's guaranteed
50,000
money.
people. It's guaranteed.
Well, I mean, what's not a good deal there?
Right.
They get a guaranteed money for their glass that they've been having to wheel and deal for the last 5 years. Now they don't have to for the next 5.
Nope, they got guaranteed contracts.
Yeah,
so
it's a good deal.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's move on to some questions and answers. We don't have any questions from the comments today, but in the future, we'd hopefully like to have some questions that our customers or just anyone who's interested in this kind of stuff for us to answer. He's got a lot of experience. I got a lot of experience. If not, we'll pull in somebody else that's got a lot of experience.
Right.
So we just kind of have some common ones today. First off, what's a VPN? A lot of people, I get advertised. I got Norton, SafeLock, whatever, all the different VPNs. What even is it? What does it do for me?
Yeah, so they're trying to sell VPNs because it's an easy money thing, and they're basically just they're hitting on the security aspect. So they're telling everybody they're like, it's safe.
Yes.
All your stuff is unsafe.
Protect
your data, protect your family. You see the ads all the time. And a lot of people just don't need it for what they're trying to do on a day-to-day basis.
But what does it do for me? Like, I turn a VPN up on my laptop. What does it do for me?
It basically takes your laptop and puts it wherever the VPN is. So it's like you took your laptop and you're operating out of wherever the VPN is.
Right.
So if the VPN's like in Las Vegas, let's say, and that's where the safe VPN is, it's taking all your traffic and you're basically acting like you started your computer in Las Vegas and started accessing the internet.
Right.
And so it's got to go over fiber lines, data centers, everything. And so it's not very fast. It really affects speed, latency, everything else.
Right. Because now instead of going straight to Google or YouTube, I got to go through Vegas to Google or YouTube.
Yep. And you got to carry through all those lines and hope that all those lines have sufficient, data caps or bottlenecks. You're basically just putting an artificial bottleneck on every aspect of that connection. So yes, you're secure, I guess you can say.
Well, isn't the whole safety thing is that, like, with one of the safer ones, they like filter your traffic or they encode your traffic so that they can't tell it's coming from you or whatever. It kind of hides your traffic.
Right.
Is the idea.
Is they're hiding it, but you're only hiding it through the company you pay. And so you're only as secure as what they are. And you're paying for that security so they keep your stuff private.
So
but really people are selling that security like somebody's going to hack you. I mean, really, nothing's going to really happen. You're at your home network. You know what I mean? And so you don't really need that security, and it just causes so many problems. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I know we have a lot of customers that call in that happen to work from home and they have to work on a VPN.
Yes.
And they call us and they're like, I'm only getting 10 meg. And then we have to ask them, do you have a VPN turned on?
Yep.
And they turn off the VPN and they get their full speeds
Yep.
immediately after. And the bottleneck is not through us; it's through their VPN provider or
which some companies require you to work on a VPN. You can't get around
the security.
You know what I mean? For the security purposes, and that's mainly because the company doesn't want you to have to worry about the security of your home network with their information. I mean, you're operating as an employee of the company and they're trying to secure themselves.
Yeah, but then they leave it on and then they go try to watch their Netflix.
And it buffers and stuff, and they don't understand why. And so it's really the company is trying to protect themselves against you having something on your network that's causing problems.
Some of their like proprietary information or something like that.
Yep. And so, but the real VPNs, for work and stuff, those are all fine. And while you're working, it's good because most employers require that to happen.
Yep.
And so that's fine. But if you're going to go watch a show, I would never watch a show on a VPN. There's just so many weird things that happen. Pauses, buffering, delays. And it's just that VPN that's causing all these issues.
Yeah.
So
next is, how much speed do I need? This is a really common thing because people look at our pricing, our speeds, and they're like, I don't know. I don't even know what a megabit is. Like, so what are some characteristics you could look for in your use in your household to recommend a speed plan for you?
Yeah, I would just recommend it's not really about it depends on what you're doing on the internet, but it's really about the amount of devices you have in a network. You know what I mean? Because you have like let's just say for instance you have one or two people in your household. You're not going to use that much speed for one or two people. Now
Right,
if one of those people, if they're both gamers and they're downloading huge files and huge games all the time,
right,
because playing a game actually doesn't use that much speed,
right.
but downloading the files uses a ton of bandwidth for a short period of time.
Yeah, and I
So
think I mean, as far as I know, so I play games at home. I've got Steam. A lot of people use Steam on their PCs, and when you initially download Steam, it actually has zero restriction on your download speed. So
right.
if I've got 100 megabits and I download it without putting a restriction, it will suck all of the 100 megabits it can get to download that game as fast as possible.
Yep, and it kills everybody else on the network. So somebody else
Yes,
tries to go, your wife or girlfriend or daughter or whatever, they try to go watch something and they're like, it's just buffering, and that's because you're in the other room downloading a game,
right.
flooding the internet traffic.
Well, and it kind of moves us into our next question. Speeds do matter based on the amount of consumers you've got.
Yeah.
If you've got a 5-person home, you may need the most speed you can get from your ISP, especially
Yes.
if they're all got tablets or playing games, whatever. If you got a 1 to 2 person home, you may need only 100 or 200 meg.
Yeah, and it
Um,
depends on your job too. That's the other thing for the
yeah,
job. Because I have seen some jobs where they're downloading and uploading huge files nonstop, like
you're right.
engineers, for example,
Yeah, yeah, they're
are
moving large amounts of
downloading
data.
large amounts of data, or if you're in video editing or anything like that,
Right.
you're uploading and downloading huge files nonstop. And so those people are a unique case, but
Mm.
usually it's about how many people you have in your house.
Yeah, and those people probably typically know
Yes, they
what
know
they
that.
kind of need from their ISP.
Yeah.
But generally, a lot of people just don't get it or they don't understand it. So it's really just about the amount of users you got at home.
Yes.
But it kind of moves us into our next question, which is what is latency and ping times? And I know this is a big deal for gamers, streamers,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So kind of explain to us, ping times and
Yeah, that's really the thing that matters the most in 2026, I would say, is latency and ping time. And it affects because it not only affects gaming and stuff like that, it affects like video calls and things of that
yeah,
nature.
yeah,
The
Zoom,
delay
especially with all the new work from home people.
Zoom or work from home or doing meetings online, it really affects. And because latency is like the time it takes between responses. And so if you've ever been on a Zoom call where like you talk and then there's a little bit of a delay, and you talk and there's a little bit of a delay, that's really ping and latency that's causing the thing. Same. It's the same
Right.
thing in a game when you go to move around in the game and it like jumps across, that's ping and latency that's
Yeah, and
causing the
just
problem.
for kind of some context, I would say anything, sub like 30 milliseconds, maybe even 50 milliseconds
Yep.
is you're not really going to feel it.
Yeah, sub 50, you're not really gonna notice difference. Really, the golden standard on fiber now is like sub 10. Most fiber
Yeah,
customers are seeing sub 10, and even some of our wireless customers, if they're on the right kind of gear, see sub 10.
right.
But that's really like the really great fiber connections. That's one of the reasons why fiber is so good, is because the latency and ping times are the lowest out of anything.
But there's also other things that can affect your latency, like if you're playing a video game and you're connected to a server that's in Los Angeles, that
Right.
maybe there's some kind of bottleneck in between there
Right.
where your game server's hosted
Or
there.
a VPN that we
Or
just talked about. A
yep.
VPN, I've seen some things on a VPN where it really isn't the speed that's affecting them. It's more the latency and ping times that's
Yes.
taking so long. Because you got to think when you run a ping or latency test, and your VPN, it's going through all those other networks and then out to the internet. And so
Yeah.
your ping and late time and latency is just a delay. It's just
Right.
causing major delays. And that's where people say it's buffering or it takes forever to load. It's usually your ping and latency.
But for the like standard internet user, you're scrolling on your social media, you're watching a movie, doesn't really matter.
No,
It's not
most
really
most
gonna-
people don't notice it. It's more the real time stuff, like real
Yeah.
live stuff.
But even live
matters.
TV, like that, just to even live TV doesn't really matter because it loads it ahead of time. Most of the time when you're watching on live TV, there's like a 30-second buffer.
Yes, live TV is getting better as the technology gets better. It's still kind of affected by ping and latency because if it's live, there is like a kind of buffer per se, a 30-second.
Mhm.
But if your ping in latency is so bad, it can still affect that.
Right.
So
Yeah. Last question is just upload versus download. What's the difference? I know it's pretty simple to us, but a lot of people out there are like, what is upload? What do I even use upload for?
Yeah, upload and download are really important. Upload again for the Zoom calls and things of that nature, and then uploading files for your work.
Yeah.
That's where upload's really affected.
Right, because it's you sending it.
Yes,
It's
upload
you.
traffic is your traffic going out.
You're not requesting information to come to you.
Yep.
You're getting it out to someone else.
If you've ever been on a video call and they're like, I can't hear you, your voice is garbled, your picture keeps freezing, that's your upload traffic. Meaning
right, the data
you're talking to them, your upload traffic is what's.
But your download's fine. You can see them fine.
Yeah,
your download is fine, but you're having issues on the upload side.
Right. Yeah. And so that's where upload, and then went back to working from home, uploading big data files.
Yeah.
When I'm uploading a big data file to a server and it's taking forever.
I know we've had some customers that run businesses or work from home that are engineers or something like you had mentioned before that require, like, we need symmetrical upload.
Yeah.
We don't need, most of our internet plans are like 100 by 30 because not a lot of people use upload.
Right. It's not very common. But as
those people,
home,
they're like, I need symmetrical. I need 100 down. I need 100 up. I need exactly. I use all of that.
Yeah. So those people are really affected for sure. The work from home is really crucial, especially after 2020. There's so many people that work from home.
Yeah. But I do see that kind of fading a bit. I mean, it has faded a bit since it was like super prevalent. Yeah. I mean, everyone was working from home. Our biggest jump in customers was COVID.
Yeah, because everybody realized their internet connection was so terrible that they got home and they're like, what am I going to do? How am I going to operate? And so we got a ton of signups because they didn't realize they had a bad internet connection, so they go to try to work from home.
And their kids are at home.
And their kids are at home because they weren't
kids
doing
are at home trying to do school at the same time where they're trying to earn the money so they can, Yeah,
and it was terrible, but we got a ton of signups out of that.
Yeah. Well, we were a quality internet provider at a point in time where people needed a quality internet provider.
Absolutely.
And now it's more prevalent than ever. But that's everything I got for today.
Awesome. We'll be posting this weekly. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We'll try to keep it entertaining, educational, and just kind of tell you about the ISP industry. And thanks for watching.
If we got, we did our Q&A today, just questions we came up with. But if you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments and we'll try to answer them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.